It's Wednesday morning, it's cold, overcast, strong easterly and periods of light rain, not very pleasant at all. Well, I've got to the boat and seen this message on the inverter charger. So the power's off at the dock. I can't figure out what's going on. You might hear a background hum that's coming from the fan in the inverter. So I've turned everything off. So the shore power's off. The switches are off in the port engine bay, it's off at the dock. I've turned off the house battery. I've turned off the emergency battery bank. Even turned off the generator start battery. But it's still making noise. So, I'm not even sure what these ones are. Well, we have not a lot of rain going through. I'll disconnect the house battery bank, just 3 big AGMs. Well, that should stop it, but let's see. Still going. I must have a magical source of I'll follow the cabling. That's the 230 volts into the inverter. The goal, let's take out, I presume it's a class T fuse out of here. Well, that made no difference, so 400 amps. Class T, I was right. Not really easy to get to the 12 volts in the back, which is the red thing there. Oh, finally silenced it, so I've taken off the 12 volt feed to it, and there must have been enough solar coming in from the MPPT charger to run it. I will let it quieten down for a while and see what happens. While we're hoping against hope that that'll do the job, I will peruse the manuals. There's 3 big folios of manuals. Okay, battery's reconnected. Battery switch is on. Let's see. And yes, that means it's charging the capacitors, but why is the fan still going? Oh, it's looking more like we've got an inverter fault. Bugger. Well, unfortunately, all 230 volts runs through the inverter generator first before it gets to the boat, so can't power from the dock or the generator. I'm going to have to empty out the freezer. There's the battery bank's not going to keep that going forever. Disconnect it again, and looks like we might be upgrading to a Victron sooner than I originally planned. I've managed to arrange temporary power supply, 230 volt, and a Victron start battery charger. So you should be able to keep the batteries going, and that's the 12 volt load. Right, so I'll have my very delayed cup of coffee and then wire her up. And of course we have another rain shower at the moment. Right, putting ferrules on. My wiring's a bit thin, but it's only warm, and I can turn the output down, which I'll probably do before I leave. So I think we can turn the freezer back on and get the stuff back out of the chili bin. Right, it's still frozen. Fridge works by the cold overflow from the freezer. Right, well that's the 12 volts sorted. So cable barely warm now, I've turned it down to 15 amps. It's Friday afternoon. Let's see how the battery bank's looking. On the vain hope of if you do something more than once, it'll be a different result. We've had the negative and positive disconnected for ages and connect them back up. Same thing, it's running, display says it can't talk to it. So I think we can agree it's had it. I suppose it's potentially fixable, but we're going to have to pull it out anyway. So let's disconnect it again. Planning on a few other upgrades, so I'll change that to a smart MPPT charge controller. This DC to DC converter is in charge of keeping the generator start battery charged, so I probably won't change that at all. I'm going to put a smart shunt in here. This one is pretty erratic. Short power's off, switches in the engine bar off, and this one's off as well. That's the AC 230 volts in and out disconnected. So next we'll take the earth off, communications cables, then we'll see if we can mobilize the thing so I can get to the 12 volts. Well, everything's being labelled. Oh, of course that bolt is imperial, not metric, because of course this is a American unit. Oh, we've got the communication cables out, so we'll undo these mount screws. I'm sure there's some on the other side, gonna be a bastard to get to. Right, I've got the screws out on the far side, so get the 12 volt supply off. Now they have been disconnected. Down here there's positive, and there's negative over here. But it's out. It's bloody heavy. Not surprising, I suppose. There's a big bit of copper transformer in there. Well, there she is. A few torque screws later. So, a huge transformer. Pretty sure you won't actually have any idea why it's not working. Oh, circuit board's looking a little bit dusty. Even if it was a circuit board, trying to get one out of the US and here in any useful length of time, pretty much impossible, I think. Control board and power board. It's got the capacitors in it. This is the plus out, and it's soldered in many places. I presume there's MOSFETs down there, or FETs, and there's the negative input down there, and this will be the brains of the outfit. Now there's power supply, relay, and obviously the huge and incredibly heavy transformer. Current sensor on the back of the control board. Oh, I might pull it apart during the weekend, get rid of all the dust and dirt. And the very vague hope that something works. Not optimistic at all. Right, here's what we've got to play with. So ideally new inverter will go vertically, but I believe they can go horizontally, which we might be able to do if we shift these off. Now that's dimmer for the lights, and what's that one say? And there's of course tons of black cables running everywhere. Might be labelled at the end but not in the middle. I believe all the white ones have been added here in New Zealand as part of the survey requirements, which were extensive. Well, if I move that breaker box and somewhere sideways, drop these down a little bit, I've got 600 high by 400 wide, so it could go there. The top of this is 400 by 400. I'm sure that's not enough, and it'd be better if it was vertical. Better for convection cooling. So here's my take on how it works. 12 volts in, positive, negative. This one in here does a high frequency AC, square wave probably, and or maybe sine wave. Anyway, goes big current into the transformer. Voltage gets stepped up, current of course goes down, so this is the 230 volt side coming out, and presumably smoothed out into a sine wave, and then comes out into the connections to the so we've got 240 volts in, which can bypass if it was working, and then there's 230 volts, and then 230 volts out of the inverter. So somewhere in here probably this relay switches from bypass into inverting, and it will also work in reverse to turn 230 volts AC into 12 volts for battery charging. It's 5 o'clock, have a cuppa and then head home, and of course the obligatory rain shower, so we'll wait for that to go. Well, the rain's passed through, so here comes one of the dredging barges. So I know they've dredged the entrance into Marsden Cove recently, so not quite sure whether they've been working today. It's Saturday. Forecast is for very cold, fairly strong southwesterlies and showers. So probably not a bad week to have major electrical problems. At lunchtime, got bacon in the air fryer. And the sun's back out. We just had another squall come through. Didn't take long for another squall to come through. Boat's moving around a bit. So I'm going to be joining the 230 volts in to the 230 volts out of the inverter. Obviously no inverter anymore. And going to pop a plug in so I can run the battery charger down onto here. Okay, well, I suppose we might as well go and plug things in and see what happens. So don't worry, those two cables at the back are disconnected. Now the 12 volt, but not connected to 12 volts anymore. I've managed to accumulate a few tools down here, as always. Well, we have shore power. Push transfer on. It's going. I'll put the outlets on. Sounds good. The chunk's going. Can resume. I no longer have to run a power cord around and plug every individual appliance in. I can retire that cable. While I enjoy my afternoon tea, I bought some thicker cable from home. What is it? It's 8mm. So we'll make a new battery cable. Leads up from that. Battery charger's now sitting in here. Everything's temporary, nothing's actually attached. So the Victron Multiplus should fit in here. Just going to shift this probably just over to there, and it will fit actually above these, don't need to move them. That might be tomorrow's job. I couldn't resist, I just gave it a pull. So a little tangle here, but yeah. Right, well that's off, and as one would expect, it was held in with, I don't know, 291 or something similar. I've been cutting cable clamps, so yeah, it should fit in there.